Hello everyone. In this week's episode, I show you what happens if you don't have Cappin when the 3.0 update came out. We go on a short villager hunt. I invite a new neighbor to live on my island who has a special place in my heart. I also talk about their backstory. I also design my second character's basement as well, and talk about why I decided to design my basement the way I designed it. I purposely decided not to check my island's ratings on Maple Bay to see what happens if you don't have Cappin on your island, and I found out what happens. Every time I get the KK Slider concert, after the concert, every time one neighbor wants to ask to leave. Julian asked to leave Maple Bay. I went on a villager hunt. I was looking for another smug, so unfortunately I had to leave a few great neighbors behind. The neighbor I invited to the community on Maple Bay has a special place in my heart. He was my mom's favorite smug neighbor. When I used to go and visit her island, he would always wait for me near the airport, waiting to greet me. My mom also used to tell me that he was always great to her and never gave her a bad gift. He always looked out for her. My backstory for Beardo is that he was born in a small countryside in England. He was a street smart detective who is willing to break some rules to find who he's looking for. Beardo is a nice guy. His last case he was on, he had to investigate a person for a crime that in a small town. He found out that it was a setup and the wrong person went down for a crime that they didn't commit. He tried to prove him innocent, but no one would listen to him, even though he had the evidence that proved the person was innocent. After the case, he quit being a detective. Beardo went on to be a writer. Beardo created a private detective that he based on himself, but he set the novel in the 1940s. It's a film noir style. He set the novel in downtown Los Angeles. The story follows a private detective who was fired from the police force because he wouldn't follow the rules. The detective would break the rules to find the person he's looking for. The detective lived in a Hollywood bungalow and works out of his home. He was hired to find out what happened to a beautiful redhead, the twin sister of the redhead who disappeared without a trace. Hired him to find out what happened. He started looking into the places where she liked to be. He found out that she was found in the LA River, but he finds out that he feels that something is off about what the cops claimed happened. The detectives went to the Hall of Records and found something for the case. He found a marriage license, and the name on the marriage license was his old boss, the chief of police. As soon as he walked out of the building, he was confronted by goons who didn't like that he was looking into the case. They told him to leave it be, but he didn't, and he was battling the goons and compromised police officers to have one final battle with his old boss. Then he finds out the twist is that the lady who was found in the LA River is actually the sister-in-law and not the wife. The person who hired him to look into her sister's disappearance was actually the sister who disappeared in the first place. His book was a great success. He sold a lot of copies. His publisher wanted him to write another novel, so he ended up writing 2 more in the series. Beardo wanted to find a place where he can fit in and where people will care for him. He saw an ad for the Nuts Deserted Island Getaway Package. Beardo loves old movies, especially film noirs. That's why he based his novels on the film noir style. He decided to sign up for the Nuts Deserted Island Getaway Package so he can go and work on more novels. He knew he was home when Plucky, Caesar, and Clay met him at the airport to help him get his items from the plane to his house. They greeted him and welcomed him home. When they greeted him and said, "Welcome home," he knew he was home. I'm going to try and build an idea that I have. I really love forests and The Legend of Zelda. All the items I got for this build, I got from my friend Angie, also known as Nana A's Gaming. One place I find calming is the forest. I could sit there and relax all day. I remember a story, like I said before, my ex didn't get along with my father. She tried to get along with him, but he wouldn't try to get along with her. She would visit and not want to cause any trouble, so her and I would go for a walk to get food. There was a restaurant next to where the housing development I lived in. There was a forest. I remember she wanted to walk out of the housing development and then walk to the restaurant, which would have taken 45 minutes. I told her that there's a shorter way. It would be 15 minutes if you walk through the housing development and cut through the forest and through the field to the restaurant. She listened to me and said, sure. She also said that the forest was calming to both of us. Forests are calming and soothing. Her and I both felt that listening to the sounds of the forest is calming and soothing. The chirping of the birds and the winds blowing through the leaves and the chirping of bugs was calming. My ex told me that when she was going to elementary school, one of her teachers gave her the nickname Malon. The reason why is because when she was younger, she looked exactly like Malon from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. The nickname stuck through elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and from when I was going out with her. Another thing that she loved to do is go to the Renaissance Fair. We used to go to the Renaissance Fair a lot. She loved to dress up for the fair. Sometimes she would even wear outfits that you would wear at the Renaissance Fair to a regular grocery store. I guess the reason why I love The Legend of Zelda is because it reminds me of my love for the forest and my love for Renaissance style. My first Legend of Zelda game that I played was the Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo 64. I also played the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for the Game Boy also, which is one of my favorite video games. I played almost all of the Legend of Zelda games in the series, with the exception of Twilight Princess, because the store that I pre-ordered it at kept telling me that the game was pushed off until I decided to cancel the pre-order and get another game instead. Then I find out a few years later that the game was never pushed off, but the store didn't want to carry the game for the GameCube for some reason, which was not fair at all. I listened to some of the soundtrack for the game, the Twilight Princess game, and that's one of the best soundtracks for a Zelda game that I've heard. My favorite soundtrack for any Zelda game is Ocarina of Time. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.